So welcome, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about, as the chair said, mobile test automation. We'll also try to emphasize the things that are most of the time neglected. So let me start. Yeah, I always tend to say it, I'm coming from dark side. So I was an ex-software developer. I don't know if we have any here. Any software developers or programmers here? Just me and a couple of people from dark side. Okay. So, yeah, then I switched to software testing and I'm happy. It wasn't because that I wasn't good at programming, but I tried to look at this area also. I was curious about testing. So, let me start by telling you some facts in the world. So first, I need to relax software developers and say that in every 2 years, the coding, the lines of code in the world is doubling. So it means that as a software developer or a programmer, your job is safe. But what about testers? Should they be unhappy? No. Because in my every session, they are telling me, okay, new frameworks are deployed, people are more talented, there are many, many tools making everything easier, but what will happen to the bugs? So one day, something like we will wake up and there will be no defects in the world? No, of course. By the way, I never dream of it, because, we are having our salaries from that area, those bugs. But okay, defects per line of code still remains the same for the last 10 years. So it means that as software testers, you are also safe. From another perspective, when we come to mobility, it is the issue just after 2000, year 2000, with the smartphones and so on. And yeah, like more than 90% of the world has a mobile device and some kind of subscription. It makes it a really important area, of course. And when we come to automation, every people tend to answer the question like, yes, we do test automation. But most of the time, to be honest, they are not aware of the return on investment, or should they really do it or not. We will talk about those things. And I will come to mobile testing. So I'm also delivering training in mobile testing, and within the first minutes of training, they will ask me, people, testers, coming to my trainings, they are asking me, okay, mobile testing should be something very different, like coming from the space, or how we can do mobile testing. I said, okay, guys, it's just testing. So testing is testing all the time, whether if it is agile, whether if it is mobile, whether if it is upside down, I don't know, but you just have some scripts, you run them, you execute it, you have your reports. Sometimes you do exploratory testing, sometimes you do test automation, but okay. But with mobile world, the thing is, it's a very, at the same time, it's a very different activity from the contextual point of view, because in mobile, the context is different. So now I will underline many things, because if you want to do mobile test automation, you need to remember those, because those are most of the time neglected in test automation activities. First one, there are many principles. You know, those devices are always carried with us. It's like one of our organ, yeah? So it's like heart or arm or whatever, the feet, so it's with you all the time. It makes it a really different device, and it makes it a very private device. You cannot give it to anyone. Imagine, in the morning, your wife came to you and said that, okay, my phone is broken, my sweetheart, so can you give your phone to me for a day? The answer is no. Am I right? Yeah, it doesn't mean that you are cheating your wives or husbands or boyfriends or girlfriends, but it is a really private device, so you cannot share it with anyone. Also, it's always on. And I remember my experience with my first mobile device. It was broken after 3 months. I went to the repair service and I asked those guys, okay, can you please change it or fix it? And the guy on the front desk, he asked me, okay, I will ask you a question. Are you turning it off while you are sleeping? I said, no, but should I have to? He told me, yes, of course, this is not a refrigerator, man, so you need to turn it off. It needs some relaxation time, so... But okay, it was more than 20 years ago. Now, you don't turn it off. If it is lucky, it's run out of battery. Otherwise, it's always on. It's like, you have a comfort zone with those devices, 1 meter. They searched for it, do a user research, and they said that, okay, if it is 1 meter, more than 1 meter away from you, you are not feeling well. That's why I have it with me here. Just close to my sensitive area, so, okay. I will keep it professional, so don't worry. And when we come to the defect side, you know, users here, they are crazy. We are crazy. So we are really relentless, and we don't like bugs here. We don't have the tolerance. If you are using a smart device, smartphone, yeah, with just single bug, you delete the application, so that's it. It should be remembered all the time. Also, we have many devices, like last year, more than 14,000 different Android devices are there in the market you can buy. Most of them are in China, of course, but you know, those all-in-one devices can cook as well as they can do some other things. But you cannot, of course, test every device. And you know, most of the time, people are using those devices with their one hand. Sometimes cradled with assistance of the second hand, but most of the time, we are doing one-hand operation. But what about in your test automation activity? Are you focusing on those as well, or are they all neglected? And you know, those people, some people are very upset. Those people who have fat fingers, you know. I don't know if you have. Mine are not that much, but I have many friends with fat fingers. When they click on some button, they click on almost everything in the screen. So, but you know, those people have a right to use mobile applications also, but they are most of the time neglected in any test automation activity. So if you are one of those people, you can go to fatfingers.com and create an account for yourself. For those unhappy people, you can create a community. So yeah, you deserve it. So, and now very recently, within the last 2-3 years, there is also a force touch. But what about the test automation activities? Do you take it into consideration? You know, now it is 3D touch. You need to take care of it as well. Also, we call it interruption testing. Imagine you are sending money to someone. Generally, when I am trying to send someone money, my mom calls me all the time, and it is interrupted my session. So what about if it remains the same, or what will happen to the application? Those things generally neglected in test automation activities, those interruption testing activities. We just do test automation in an isolated world, which is like heaven all the time. Those devices are connected to Wi-Fi, having a bandwidth, and very nice, everything is running perfectly, but in the real world, we use SIM cards, and those SIM cards are really problematic things, you know. When you are with those SIM cards, you need to be sure that anything may happen to you, and also with mobile devices, I don't know if you know this phenomenon, but we call it Heisenbug. It's a bug. When you catch it, and when you try to analyze it, it disappears. You know, if you are an Apple user, you should know this, because if your Apple is older than 2 years, is something like some bugs are coming up. When the battery is 40%, it goes down. Sometimes your calendar doesn't show up, something like that. And yeah, on the last day, you go to the Apple store and buy the new phone. I think this is done on purpose by Apple, yeah? There is a code: if iPhone is older than 2 years, then randomly create bugs in several areas so that no one can analyze it. It should be randomly appearing so that the guy will come and change the phone. Also claim testing, if you are capable with those app stores, you know there are many descriptions with every application. It says, okay, our application is like heaven. It will give you everything. You will be very happy, something like that. But in the real world, it is not the same. So you need to do claim testing. But when you do test automation, these are neglected. And like De Bono said, the project management guru, he says, yeah, he has 6 thinking hats, you know. In the real life, if you try to solve problems, you need to think positively, then negatively, then in a process-wise, then whatever. And we call it, when you are testing a product, intuitions are also important. It means emotions are also important. It's not 0-1. Most of the people tell you that, okay, testing should be totally quantified with 100 test cases, 75 passed, 22 failed, but it is not like that in the real world. If you do, for example, usability testing, and you know the theory relativity, yeah? All those numbers are relative, by the way. You need to know that, okay, 100 test cases, 75 passed. Okay, but it's up to you. In what context, for example, you run those test cases? And those questions also, you need to ask it to yourself. That, okay, if I do user experience testing, can I automate it? Yeah, okay, currently we are talking about artificial intelligence, etc., machine learning, but we don't have any tools like telling you, okay, I don't like this screen. No, I'm confused. There is no smart tool like that, so you need to not to automate those tests. And when I visit companies, they show me mobile test laboratories all the time. They tell me, okay, this is our laboratory. See, all the people, they are sitting on the chair, have some tablet or smartphone in their hand, but it's on the table. They run the scripts and said pass, fail. But I said, okay, this is mobile testing. Your users are not using those products while they are sitting, so they are on the move. I was expecting a mobile laboratory, like people are walking all the time and checking the test case and then walk again, but it never happens. So it is the one important area in mobile testing, most of the time neglected in test automation. And when I come to test automation, okay, this is because of the PDF. So look, not good. Okay, I will tell you, cross-functional teams are needed. So those people generally, analysts, developer, testers, they hate each other most of the time, but they need to love each other, because if they work closely, for example, an analyst with a developer, we will have better specifications. If analyst and tester will work closely, then you will have better acceptance criteria. And if developers and testers are working closely, you will have better test automation. So you need to come together, what Agile says. And now, these people who are in test automation area, they are also problematic people. Like, they don't like to call themselves testers first. When I say, what do you do? Are you a tester? No, I am a test automation engineer. Okay, so you are a tester for me. No, I'm not. Those guys, those miserable guys who are doing manual testing, oh, poor guys. But the thing is not like that, because, you know, we do test automation for the betterment of manual testing. It is not replacing automation. It needs to make your manual testing efforts better. So it's like a complementary activity. So, you know, automation will not replace human testing if your users are human. And also those people, not that loyal, they get bored. You know, there is a boredom genetics in every tester. They told me all the time, testers in my company, they come to me and said, okay, I'm bored. I said, so what can I do to you? Yeah, I cannot come and sleep with you at night, so that it will make a challenge and make your life better. But no, you need to create your own challenges, yeah? Not always your managers or supervisors can give it to you. Also, those people, you know, the technological people, they tend to create jargons all the time, like CMS, MDSP, TTS, TMP, something like that. You cannot understand anything from those people. And also, they like over-sophisticated solutions instead of the simple ones. I just ask this simple thing from you, but like, you need to hold your ear like that, or sometimes like that, but I just ask this. You need to be also answering those questions. Before starting to test automation, you need to ask yourself why I am doing it. For bug detection or confidence building. This is the two perspectives you need to take care of. Yeah, before me, Goran, he told about test pyramids. This is the revisited version of my stuff. It says you need to have more automation on the lower levels, of course. You know now microservices stuff, so we need to tend to not to deal that much with user interface layer in order to make more maintainable test cases. So you need to push them on lower levels. And when you go to lower levels, you do test automation for bug detection. When you go up, you do it for confidence building on the UI level. Most of the time, for example, I think you are doing regression test automation, which is most of the time done on the UI layer and which is doing for confidence building, not for bug detection. And also, you know, when you go down, maybe the logic coverage is low, but code coverage is more. And the execution time, many people in test automation field, they automate like crazy. And when they are finished, something like, okay, we have 3,000 automated test cases now. Okay, run them. Okay, but we don't have time to run those. So maybe we will pick 50 of those. Then why to have many test automation scripts? So here in this field, bigger is not always better, you know, especially not in this area. Maybe in other areas. Okay, misperceptions. Some of them, I don't have time, but tell you, for example, yeah, people, most of the time, they think that, okay, our efforts will drop immediately. We know it. That's why we need to do automation. No, your efforts will go up, of course. They will increase. It will not coming down in the first days. You will have to spend more and more time to make it that way. So you need to wait for the return. It is not coming immediately to you. And in the common sense, you know, we try to have more maintainable scripts now. We try to separate the test code with the page-specific code. You know all those stuff. We try to run them in parallel, do cross-browser testing, try to run them in isolation with those Docker and so on, and containers. And one last thing maybe, it is common sense, I want to tell you. There is no one way of writing a test code. For example, when you give a task to several test automation people, they come with different solutions, and it is the case all the time. Even with the simplest task, the code, the script coming to you would be different, of course. So there is no one way. And for the future, we will be more focusing on test code quality. Until now, we just focus on test automation, whether we do it or not, to make the decision correctly or not. But from now on, you need to keep your test code clean. You need to have a better code. I don't have time to go through all those things, but you can ask those to me if you are willing to ask. So I'm here to tell you, but code quality is important. That's why we tell people to do smart test automation, in which we tell that your scripts should be small, should be atomic, should be modular, should be maintainable, should be analyzable, and should be up-to-date, timely, and rapid. They need to run fast. So you need to keep this in mind. And also, many people come to me again, ask me, which is the best tool? It's like asking, which is the best car? So for you, it can be a sports car. For me, it can be a SUV. So it's up to the context that you are using those tools. So you need to try those, but never believe in company presentations, like they will tell you, we will send you to space. But okay, I don't need to go to space. I just need to sit here and do the automation. So that's why you try to pay for this, but just use this one. You need to also keep it in mind. And yeah, lastly, many people in the testing field, they said that, okay, our CIO or IT director or the people on the top level, they don't have quality vision. So they are not that visionary people. They don't pay us good salaries, etc. They don't give us enough budgets. And that's why we are not in a good shape. So they just expect that budget or test funding to flow from top to down, but it is not like that. So you need to fight for that budget. You need to show people that you are capable of doing testing, you are following the newest trends, you know which technology you are testing, and so on. And you need to convince those people to give you some budget, okay? So not always flowing from top to down. It should be flowing from bottom to top. Please keep it in mind. And maybe finally, okay, you know, one last thing I need to tell you is, yeah, just find someone to review your test code. It's very important because it creates responsibility between people. Imagine if you are reviewing someone's code, you are responsible of that code. That's why you take it seriously. And it will also improve your skills in test automation. And also, if you are the one who is under review, you feel like, okay, this guy is now reviewing me, so he shouldn't find any bugs. That's why I need to keep it clean and I need to do good coding, something like that, which is also important. And maybe some last things. Many people tend to say that test automation is software development, but no, it is testing. You know, the most important problem in every test automation thing is people, they have the technical skills, but they don't have the conceptual know-how about testing. If I ask him, for example, why we do regression testing, he says, never mind, so I don't care about it, I just code. I code it. I code everything. You cannot imagine my coding skills. Okay, you can be very good at coding, but if you are lack of testing know-how, then it will be meaningless. And also, last word, the good test automation should be based on solid test design. You need to keep it in mind. If you have a good test design, which is most of the time done manually, then you will found your building on that solid design. If your test design is not good, the automation effort will be not good, unfortunately. And thank you for listening. We have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. And we have some questions here. Unfortunately, not too much time. I'm going to pick the first one.
How do you tackle coverage in the immense fragmented Android world? I personally do not tackle it, but people around me, they tend to use simulators. You know, if you are doing testing in the lower level, then you can freely use simulators or emulators, but you need to keep it in mind that they are not real devices. So there will be some differences, of course, you need to take them into consideration, but the only thing that you manage this is to use those things. Yes. Next one, please. Is my answer. If you like it or not, I don't know. But this is me. How do you handle test duplicates? Because it happens that a few people to write similar test cases for the same feature. I personally do not handle it, but you know, if you have a geographically spread team, those things are problems. If your team is not talking to each other, these are problems. That's why Agile is telling us to have a cross-functional team working closely together. For me, it is like, it shows me there is a problem in communication between the team. So if you don't improve that communication, you will have duplicates all the time if you don't improve your communication. That's my resolution to it. And maybe, what do you mean by everything should be automated? I mean, everything shouldn't be automated. That's what I mean. So, it means, for example, if you do user experience testing, if you do usability testing, you need to have a human being telling you, I don't like this product, and which is a very important indicator in testing. So those things, don't automate those. Okay, many automation people are here, I understand it. Don't get offended. Everything can be automated. You can automate everything, but you shouldn't automate it. So that is my thing. Okay.
There's time for one more question that you
Very
can see
nice.
over there.
Which test framework would you recommend? Oh my God, I have many with me. But you know, test framework, there are maybe hundreds of those. For example, if you do mobile testing, if you are on the commercial side, you can use, for example, I don't like these answers, to be honest. I want to skip it, but because that I love you and like you, I will give you the answer. But it doesn't mean that I am relaxed. Okay, you can use HP UFT, for example. You can use Ranorex, for example, in the commercial side to do mobile test automation. But at the same time, you want to use your Selenium code, you can have Appium to use with those devices. It's also, you can have Selendroid for Android, Selenite for Android. We have many. So, Gergerly, come to me in the break. I will tell you my answer.